facilities or leaving them, to former Verizon boss and CEO Denny Strigl. Denny, I did not intend to grab you on a day like this, but it does come in the backdrop of Donald Trump and others talking about what is fair game to get information if it telegraphs stuff like this. What do you think?
Neil, in general, I agree with what Donald Trump has said here. It is very difficult for telephone companies and for social media companies to get suspicious information to the right law enforcement authorities. Today, it is only done under a court order. So, look,
I'm fine with that.
No, I'm not fine with that. But let me.
I'm sorry that they should do a little more. That's what Donald Trump is.
Neil, first of all, let me say that I'm not speaking for Verizon
Understood.
or AT&T. I want to be very clear on that. But in my personal preference here would be that information flows more easily from the likes of Google or Twitter or Verizon or AT&T to law enforcement authorities. The only way it is transmitted today is by court order.
Okay, a lot of this stuff is readily available. Like apparently, Denny, the first sign we had was from the Naval Medical Center San Diego on a Facebook page saying, "Attention, an active shooter has just been reported in Building 26 at the Naval Medical Center in San Diego. All occupants are advised to run, hide, or fight." You heard me say that. So they announce it on facilities or social media available to them. Now, what authorities are going to start questioning is, was anyone else using these social media sites as a means of either forwarding this, telegraphing this, and that's where they go after guys like you, not in your present capacity, but to say, all right, cough up anything you have.
Well, sure. Let's not be at all naive about this, because the government has many sources for information.
In other words, they can get this if they want.
Look, they can get they monitor the internet just like Google or.
Do they monitor it after the fact, Denny? In other words, do they piece it together? I'm not blaming them for anything. After the fact, oh, we should have heard these musings about if you started doing an algorithm, naval facility, San Diego, shooter, you know what I mean?
It's only my hunch here, though. In terms of Homeland Security, I think they're all over this stuff. And it's not just the NSA, it's all kinds of law enforcement. But fact of the matter is that this information, a lot of this information is generally available on social media sites. But
bad guys go to social media sites before they do bad stuff, right?
Well, sure. My contention is that information ought to flow more easily, and I think that this is what Mr. Trump is suggesting,
right,
from telephone companies to law enforcment. Yes, I agree with that.
But the fear is for free speech advocates and the like. Is that a little bit, right?
You know what? I understand that. Do I fear that? Of course. But when you think about it, the IRS, the NSA monitors satellite conversations. All of this information is generally available anyway. So, you know, in my opinion, what's the big deal? If the telephone company or social media sees something suspicious, they ought to be able to turn that over to the authorities. And today, under current laws, they cannot do that.
All right, Denny, thank you very, very much. By the way,